When it comes to dating and success with women, there are a lot of concepts that may apply when you're sort of a beginner or just learning that don't apply anymore at an advanced level. And one of those that really stands out for me is the concept of what I call nexting. Now, this was a very big term when I was first learning pickup 17 years ago, around like 2000, right? The idea here is that say you go meet a girl and things are going well, you get a number maybe, you're calling her up, trying to get her out on a date, and she's being flaky or she's giving you some bullshit, giving you more shit test than is really worth, whatever. And then you do what's called nexting her. You just say, I'm done with her, I'm moving on to the next, right? There's an interesting concept. And at a beginner level, it makes a lot of sense. Because most guys that are beginners in game, they come from a place of a lot of scarcity, a place of like getting strong one-itis, getting like really attached to any girl that shows them any kind of interest, and thinking that there are very few girls in the world, so if this one doesn't work out, it's a huge tragedy. From that perspective, nexting is empowering. From that perspective, being able to say, oh, next, I'm gonna move on, is a way of sort of taking control of a situation and saying, I have abundance, I can find other girls, and it's actually a really good attitude to a point. And so for a beginner, it makes a lot of sense. However, if you think about it on a deep level, you didn't really next her, she nexted you, right? If she's flaky on you or not showing up for the date, and then she doesn't get to be with you, whatever, or you don't get to be with her, it goes both ways. But it's because she fundamentally showed disinterest first. And so on a certain level, what guys are doing when they're nexting girls is they're just like giving up, and then they're making a convenient excuse for it. So there's two different ways to really look at it. One is the empowering way, oh, I nexted her and moved on with my life. The other is, I gave up and threw in the towel. And again, at a beginner level, nexting and going on with your life is very powerful because you're avoiding one-itis, you're establishing abundance, you're establishing the idea there are more girls in the world. However, at an advanced level, I think it's very, very silly, right? Most of the time, between meeting a girl and sleeping with a girl, there is gonna be some level of shit testing. On the phone, there is gonna be some level of flaking. I would say probably the vast majority, like 85, 90% of girls that I've slept with in my life at some point gave me some level of shit or flaking or something like that, or at least seemed like, maybe reticent at a certain point. So had I given up on all those girls, I would have slept with maybe like 10%, 15% of the girls that I have in my life. I would have had actually way fewer to choose from. On top of which, a lot of times it's the higher caliber girls or the girls that are just at the edge of your range that are gonna give you more flakiness, more shit. And from an advanced perspective, I have had girls where I've met a girl, gotten her number, and then it's 6 months of texting or them seeing my social media or whatever before I actually get them on a date. So this actually can work out in your benefit, and it can work out for some very, very attractive girls. And here's the thing, at a beginner level, you kind of like, I don't want to say you need this for abundance, but it's helpful for your abundance mentality. It's helpful for your idea of taking control. However, at an advanced level, you don't have to fake abundance anymore. You don't have to convince yourself you have abundance. You actually have it. You actually have girls hitting you up. You actually have girls in your life. Maybe you even have a rotation of girls. And at this point, ironically, you don't need to next the girl and move on because you can keep her in your phone without getting attached to her. And you can send her a random mass text that you're sending to 6 other girls and not worry if she's gonna respond. So on a beginner level, it's kind of like emotionally healthy to not be so obsessed with the girl and be able to, next her and move on. At an advanced level, you actually don't need that anymore. And you're strong enough that you can sort of have the temptation and not have to act on it, and you're not getting too obsessed with the girl. So this phenomenon actually happens a lot in game, where there's a behavior that as a beginner, you need to adopt it in order to prove that you can, or in order to prove that you have abundance, or in order to like just grow into it. And then at a certain level, when you actually have it, you no longer need to exhibit it because girls can just see you have it, or your life just reflects that you have it and it's no longer necessary, all right? So I hope that helps you with nexting. Summary is, at a beginner level, decent idea, good to take control of your life, but as you get advanced, try and be persistent, try and follow up and try and play the game the right way, because understand when you're nexting a girl, technically she nexted you first and you're just making an excuse. And then on a more global level, understand that there are a lot of behaviors that'll work for you as a beginner that you're gonna need to evolve or even get rid of when you get more advanced. So don't get too attached. Don't get too attached to a behavior you've had currently if it stops working.